Rwanda is giving Burundian refugees access to free education after setting up the Paisanat L School to accommodate thousands of children who have fled conflict in Burundi. The schools now provide free education to students who live in and around the Maha refugee camp.
This is 15-year-old Annette and her best friend, 16-year-old Belaka. Both go to school in Rwanda and dream about becoming doctors one day. Belaka, who isn't from Rwanda, is a refugee from Burundi. For her, going to secondary school was a chance for a return to normality after fleeing fighting more than a year ago.
At the school, they really help us. When they provide school materials to the refugees, they also give the same to us. They don't discriminate. This is one of the reasons we feel that they are our real colleague.
The secondary school at Paisanat was built 3 years ago to accommodate thousands of children who had fled to the country from Burundi. Now it provides free education to youths in and around Mahama refugee camp. Having the school right on her doorstep has also been a blessing for Annette, a Rwandan who lives outside the refugee camp.
Annette is a good friend. Before we became really close, she used to tell me to come and study with her. At first, I was worried as I am a Burundian and she's a Rwandan. But she kept telling me to come and study together. She would explain the lessons to me.
The school started out in 1997 as a small primary school, but later expanded in 2015 to accommodate thousands of Burundian children who joined the exodus after renewed violence broke out at home.
And over in Nigeria, a delegation of the Nigeria-South Africa Chamber of Commerce is in South Africa seeking business opportunities and prospective trade partners. South Africa is one of Nigeria's biggest trade partners, but the tilt is often set to be in South Africa's favor. Well, the group is attending a number of business meetings, and the goal is to pull down barriers against improved trade across both countries. Today, the group was hosted by the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency in Johannesburg. Our South African Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, reports.
The various presentations laid bare the facts and figures of Nigeria's and South Africa's economies, their trade relations, where it is and where it should be. South Africa's export to Nigeria stands at nearly 650 billion naira, while imports from Nigeria stands at about 2.6 trillion naira, 99% of that being crude oil.
So there's an issue of diversification and the discussion that needs to happen around how do we move away from this concentration of a few key sectors and a few commodities trading between each other.
In this room are businesses connected, connecting, or looking to connect in order to drive Africa's economic growth. But there are still obstacles, some of them needless.
3-month visa. I have meetings, and to seal a deal, it can take you 4, 5, 6 meetings. So my 3-month visa will expire next month. Then I have to start again the same process.
Now that we have people from South Africa here, people from Nigeria here, visa issue is germane to any sort of relationship.
I've been outsourcing my raw materials from China, and I've just recently learned that, well, I can get it from Nigeria. But I don't know how to approach the company I need to buy this raw material from, because there's nobody connecting us.
We must try and build that one-on-one relationship.
Many of the stereotypes that exist based on ignorance, that have caused a lot of upset between and amongst the two countries, is stuff that we have to invest in, that healing process. We have to talk about the xenophobia that has caused problems, and therefore people don't want to bother to interact.
Of course, more is expected from the Joint Trade and Investment Committee of the Binational Commission between both countries to drive the government-level action plans, but there are also expectations of less government-driven efforts and more people-to-people and business-to-business engagement opportunities.
The discussion that is taking place today show clearly, in some extent, some frustration that people are feeling, and that is probably more at the SME level. I think the big businesses, when it's time to get together, they know where to go, what to do, and how to get on with it. But we all know that it's the SMEs in all countries that help to drive the level of business activity.
The 26-member delegation of the Niger-South Africa Chamber of Commerce will be attending a session on Nigeria's economic outlook on Wednesday before heading off to Cape Town the next day. On the 21st of this month, a South African trade delegation will also be heading to Nigeria to continue engagements for business opportunities. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
And still about South Africa, the government there has declared a national disaster in some parts of the country to help deal with drought-stricken areas such as popular tourist destination Cape Town. This will enable authorities to have access to special funds. The announcement was made by Minister of Cooperative Governance, Willie Makize. Earlier, 6 billion rand was set aside in the 2018-2019 budget speech for bringing relief to affected communities. The National Disaster Declaration covers a period of 3 months. And it does seem like African leaders are getting more creative on how to cling on to power. Burundi's president, Pierre Nkurunziza, has now been named Eternal Supreme Guide by his political party. The Secretary General of the governing CNDD-FDD, Evariste Ndayishimiye, says the move means no one in the party is allowed to disagree with the president's choices. But critics say a cult of personality is developing around 54-year-old Mr. Nkurunziza. The new title comes just months ahead of a national referendum, which could end with Mr. Nkurunziza getting permission to rule until 2030. He is already serving a controversial third term in office. A Nigerian business entrepreneur, Olayemi Samson, recycles plastic water sachets into raincoats, school bags, car covers and shoes. He says he's doing his part to fight pollution and encourage reuse and recycling while making a practical fashion statement.
Nigerian entrepreneur Olayemi Samson is working on a piece for his latest collection of outwear, a raincoat made of plastic waste. The 29-year-old entrepreneur came up with the idea of using discarded water sachets to make items like clothes, shower caps and school bags in a bid to fight pollution in his home city, Lagos. In Nigeria, water sachets are popular and easily accessible, but as a result, the packaging is easily scattered and ends up around almost every busy street corner. Tired of seeing the plastic waste clogging up drains and getting in the way, Olayemi decided to play his part for the environment.
I got to understand that over 27 million sachet water waste littered on the streets on a daily basis. So I began to ask myself that, where this waste, it takes 20 to 30 years before they decay. And where are they going to? They are flitting all around the streets, and I know definitely accumulation of all this waste leads to flood, which causes a lot of loss of lives and property. So I now feel that, okay, we should come to the rescue of this. We should find a way of transforming this environmental nuisance into something useful.
According to a World Bank report from 2011, Lagos generates 9,000 metric tons of waste daily. Cheaper than other alternatives, plastic bags and bottles are popular, but poor waste management services and lack of laws to restrict their use and sale remains a challenge. Olayemi collects plastic bags wherever he finds them. He has also enlisted the help of restaurant owners and school children, who he pays a small fee to help him. Once he gathers them, he washes and disinfects them before using them to create his practical recycled pieces. There are those that are impressed by his work, but others are still not sold on the idea of reusing plastic bags as clothing.
Yes, I can use it because seeing the pictures, it looks lovely. But it depends on the kind of outing I'm using it for. But I can use it, probably for leisure, stuff like that. But I think when it comes to something very serious, I won't use it.
He has not yet turned a profit from the sale of his creations, But Olayemi says he hopes to inspire young people and those in authority to reimagine recycling and see it as a unique business opportunity and to protect the environment.
What a way to make a fashion statement. Well, that's the program today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.